Welcome to Chatting with the Experts, a podcast for immigrant women from Africa and the Caribbean who have relocated to the UK or the US or Canada or Australia. In this podcast, we talk about the struggles that we have experienced because I am an immigrant woman, but we also highlight the triumphs that we have experienced. And we love to share this with the world. My guest today is extra special. And she's extra special because not only is she from Africa, but she's also from a country in Africa that we haven't showcased ever on Chatting with the Expert. She's from the Cameroon. Her name is Lucie Matsuaka, and she lives and works in Cary in North Carolina. Lucie, welcome to Chatting with the Experts. I am delighted to have you here. I'm going to now let you speak about yourself.
Good morning, Paula. How are you today?
I'm so good. I'm good. And I'm even better because you're on my show.
Listen, it's an honor for me to be here. I'm really grateful, and I I saw a few of your interviews, and I saw a little bit of your work. It is amazing, and I just first of all, I have to say thank you so much for the amazing work that you do, not only in the community and in the entire world, because there are so many women who maybe need a platform like yours to be heard, and you are there for them, and I'm just grateful for you. So thank you so much, and congratulations on all your great work.
Thank you. I couldn't do it without you guys.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to be here. It's such, I mean, when you reached out and said that you wanted to have a conversation, I got excited because this is what I do. I love sharing who I am in my work with the world. My name is Lucie Matsuaka. Like you said, I was born in Cameroon. Cameroon is a country, for your audience. Cameroon is a country in Central Africa. And I happen to be born in the French speaking part of the country. Cameroon is a bilingual country. I mean, it's funny. I'm not even going to say bilingual. I'm going to say, I mean, we have before colonization, we have more than 235 languages, and French and English are the two official languages for business and politics and everything, government. But so I just happened to be born in the French speaking part of the country. And I remember that I didn't like to learn English at all. So when I moved to the US 18 years ago, I had to learn. I was like, I had to learn. And here I am today talking to you, speaking with you. And I'm like, wow, Lucy, you're coming a long way. Yeah, I came here because of the great possibilities and just to give my kids and my family, a different some options, some different options than the ones that I had back home. But I'm so grateful to be here, and I'm grateful to be from Cameroon as well because I've learned so many things that I am using here every single day to better my life and help and serve. Yes.
That's awesome. So, apart from Cameroon, I know in speaking with you some time back that you lived in or you visited some other countries in Africa. A lot of people think that Africa is a country, but we know Africa is a continent made up of many countries, 56 or 57 countries to be exact. And so, apart from Cameroon, you lived in Benin, I think?
Yes, yes. I used to live in Benin. I studied there. I lived in Burkina Faso. I lived a little bit in Ivory Coast. I visited so many different countries before I came here and finally decided to land here. Just leave here for the I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say the rest of my life because I'm not sure what God has for me. But I would say for now I've been here. This is the place where after traveling to so many countries and continents, my husband and I decided that, you know what, let's us try the US. And then we've been here for 18 years, and the kids were born here, the American citizens. And we're here because we want to make sure that we stay there and support them and everything. But yes, Africa is not a country, guys. It is a huge continent with different cultures and different, there's so many things. Like I said earlier, even Cameroon alone has more than 235 different languages. And when I say different, it's they're really different. And like the region where I was born, for example, is it's like if I travel from that region to for like as soon as I travel like maybe 1 hour away, they already speak another language. That's how crazy it is. Just 1 hour, they don't already speak another language that I don't understand. Yeah, and then I insist in saying that these are languages because some people tend to call them dialects, which I hate and I find disrespectful. So I really want people to understand that Africa is a huge continent with so many countries. And like a quick example, my husband is from Congo Brazzaville. He's from the Republic of Congo, and I don't understand his languages. I don't understand his culture. He had to teach me. You know, we have of course we have some similarities, but so many things that I had to learn from him. And we're neighbors. Can you imagine that?
I can imagine. And sometimes we have to make it easy for people to understand. It's just like people in the US are different from people from Canada. They're neighbors, but they're not the same thing. And then well, not everybody, but let's look at Canada. You have English speaking Canada, you have the French speaking part of Canada. America, I mean, for the most part, the language here is English. But to an English speaking Canadian, the English speaking American is different. And then, of course, when we look at Britain, I mean, England, they're different. We all speak English, but we're different. And so that's how we have to, I want to say, educate people. And like Africa is so vast, and the made up of countries, and within those countries there were people with their own cultures, their own languages that were different from each other's. As you said, your husband's from Congo, different culture, different language.
And the funny thing is, some people don't know that there are two different Congos, but they are. Yeah. There's one that was used, people know more about the one that used to be called the Zaire. It's the biggest one, and where there's all that gold and all those minerals and the good stuff that people envy so much in the entire world. And then there's a small Congo called the Republic of Congo. That's where my husband was born, and that's his country. So, but anyway, yes, that's how vast it is. So,
Vast and beautiful. There's a lot that we can learn. So, you decided to come to the US, as you said, after visiting and living in different countries in Africa, some in West Africa, some, I guess, in Central Africa. And you came to the US, you said primarily for your children, for the future of your children. Was there any reason that you left your country?
first of all, I left my country because that was a long time ago. Oh my gosh, I was still in high school when I left my country.
Wow.
Yeah, that's funny how because when I think about it, the reason why I came to the US was not the reason why I left my country of origin, which is Cameroon.
Hmm.
When I finally decided to move to from the continent of Africa to North America, I didn't leave from my country. I was in Benin.
Republic de
My
Benin.
country was when I was in. And here's what happened. Back then, my father was working for the government of the country, so he had the possibility to send us. He was send his kids overseas to study, and the country was good until we had, whew, I'm gonna say it, the wrong leadership. Can you imagine just for the sake of a little fun? I'm sure your audience is gonna scream when they're gonna hear this. Can you imagine the president of my country? He came to power when I was 5 years old, and he's still here right now, and I'm almost 45.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just had to say that because people don't understand this. John Maxwell says everything rises and falls on leadership, and the country started to go the wrong direction, and the universities decided to there was not they were no longer scholarships and stuff like that, and it became a little bit mess, but not everybody has the potential and the possibility and what it takes to send their kids overseas. I'm so grateful that my father had that possibility. He had what it took to do that, and he sent us, most of us, are overseas in other countries to study. And that's how I found myself in high school, even like right before college. I went to Benin because my sisters were already there. And then from there, I went back to the country. And then I remember actually I met my husband in one of those countries. I met my husband in Burkina Faso. And what happened was after that, after studying in over there, he had to go to Europe for a year. And finally, when he came back, we started to think, where should we go? Because if we really want to find a place where the kids can have more options when it comes to something where they can have, like, because America has such great opportunities. Don't get me wrong, I love America for that. They
Mm-hmm.
give you, this is a nation that gives you the opportunity to be who you are and who you want to be. I mean, there's so many great possibilities over here. And that's how we decided that we could just come over here and just give it a try. Unfortunately, we had to start from scratch. You know how it works when you come over here and all your degrees and your diplomas are not recognized, and you kind of have to, not only you have to learn the language, the American system. If your degrees are not accepted, you have to go back to school and start from scratch. So that's what we did. So yeah, and that's how I. That's the reason. That's actually the key reason why I left the continent. But I go from time to time. We go once in a while to bring back the kids so they can see where they were originally from, and that's it.
That's amazing. Yes, it's necessary to know where you're from because it helps you sometimes know where you're going.
I
Uh-huh.
agree. I agree. It keeps you grounded. And I always, yes, and there's something that we have to remember. Um, uh, all nations or all countries and all cultures have some good things and some bad things. We happen to be one of those families who had the opportunity to travel. And I'm grateful because I the fact that I was born in another culture, I know exactly, I have a great idea of what is the good positive side from my society of origin. And when I came to America, I because I'm an outsider here from the beginning, I actually have a great idea of what I feel like is not good. So guess what I do? It allows me and my husband to raise kids in a very unique way because we can then get take the good side of our different cultures and give it to the kids, and then we take the good side of America and then we give it to the kids, and then we have that possibility to say, hey, I know from my culture there's something that I don't like and I'm going to put it in the trash, and then I know from the American culture there's something that I don't like and I'm going to put it in the trash as well. So we try, we have that opportunity to be able to blend different cultures and the good stuff from different cultures. So that's what I love about being an outsider, to be honest with you.
I love what you just said about, recognizing that every culture has something good and something bad. And then you have the opportunity as an immigrant to pick what you like. You in terms of like bringing up your children. You said, I like that when you said you put the bad things in the trash from either culture over there. I've never heard it said that way, but that's unique. I like that.
it's just it's just a way that it's actually something that I tell my kids sometimes, because when it's actually funny how when you raise kids in America and you were not from this culture, it's challenging, because at home, the minute they walk into the house, they are either Congolese or Cameroonian, and we speak French at home. But the minute they walk out of the house, they speak English. It's America. That's okay. But we also have to we have to filter things. So when they bring some habits that we don't approve, we have to filter them and say, hey, no, 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 we don't do that here. And then it's challenging. But I that's the reason why I usually tell them, hey, listen, this country is amazing, but there are some things here that I think are not okay. So I think you have to pick up for this aspect. I would suggest that you pick up from the other side instead. That's what I tell them all the time. And they laugh so much. But sometimes they're like, oh, Lord, what are we going to do with you, Mama? But I mean, this is how we do it. It works, you know.
Yes, yes, yes. And it would be amazing if one could do studies on them, and see how they bring their own children up, what
Yes.
aspects of the culture that they imbibe. It'll be interesting to do some studies on
It will
them.
be interesting. Yes.
Mhm. So, immigrating can be hard. I know that. I'm an immigrant. Just as we said that there are good parts and there are bad parts of every culture, there's some good times and there's some hard times here. So, during the tough times, where have you found your strength? And can you share some of these resources with anyone, with my audience?
Absolutely. Yes, yes. Whew. First of all, you said something earlier, remembering where you came from and why you left in the first place. That's big because I tell people all the time. I just had this conversation with a lady one day who said she noticed that people who come from the continent of Africa or even the other continents, when they come here, they aggressive when it comes to um, their success. They're very focused and they don't play games. And I say, yeah, the reason is simple. I don't see myself leaving, flying all the way and leaving my entire family. And I feel like I had to abandon everything and come here and play games. You don't have time for that. That is, so the way we focus, especially myself, I read a lot. People don't, I mean, remember, the person you're listening to right now actually speaks English as her third language. So English is my third language. This means before English, I have French, and before French, I have my um, other language from Cameroon, from my region, which is Yemba. And when you come into a country like this one, the first thing that people think when you don't speak English properly is that you're stupid. So you face a little bit of rejection, you face disrespect. People don't acknowledge who you are, or maybe and it's hard. It can hit you really hard because especially if you know who we were when in where you were, where you came from, and you feel like, oh my God, they don't. But this is how I had to see it. I put it this way. Well, listen, I'm just starting here from scratch. That's fine. I acknowledge that everybody who is my age has an edge because they were born here anyway. So I have to start where they. I mean, by the time I came here at 26 years old, some people were just owning homes and stuff like that. But that's okay. And this is the way I see it. I just project myself every single time I project myself 5 to 10 years from now, and I have a game plan, and I say, where do you want to see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to see yourself in the next 10 years? I plan, and I go to work. I put my head down, and I don't look up until I see what I want to see. And I'm talking about reading because a lot of people don't understand how important it is to um, get in the mind of other people. I'm an author, so I understand. I'm telling you how it's crazy how people who do not read don't understand what a book can do for you. When you open a book, you actually go into the mind of someone, and the majority of people who write books, it's usually after they've been through some type of things, and they feel like this is the time for them to share to help someone else. So I took advantage of a lot of that. I read books. I have people that I look up to, and I not because I want to become like that, but because I'm just inspired by their struggles and the things that they've been through. And I always, the first thing that when someone inspires me, the first thing I'm looking for is there a book out there that they wrote, and I want to look for it. And that's how I get my information. I listen to audiobooks a lot as well. Because for someone like me who speaks English as a third language, it's hard. I read very slow in English, so I have to make sure that I get the audiobook version as well when I don't have time to sit down and read. So, and another thing that I can give for as a tip for people who are immigrants as well. And this is one mistake that they make is that they come to this nation where there's so many people from different backgrounds and races and cultures and everything, and they don't take advantage of all that, and they stay among their communities only. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? I mean, I think you're making a huge mistake. I understand how important for you it is to stay in your community. For example, let's say I'm a Cameroonian person, I'm going to stay with a Cameroonian community only and everything just because it feels comfortable. But that's a mistake. I'm not saying that you have to reject who you are. I'm saying be brave, have the courage to leave and step, close your eyes a little bit and say, okay, it's okay if I feel rejected, it's okay if other people don't understand me. If How are you going to succeed and expand yourself if you stay in just one group of people? It doesn't work that way, and I see that mistake a lot. That's one of the things that my husband and I we do. You're not gonna believe, Paula. We have today. I have my best friends in the U.S. are from everywhere in the U.S. I'm talking about all races and backgrounds, and because at the end of the day, Paula, we are the same people. It's just one human race. And when you take a chance on yourself and you decide to get close to the people who don't eat the way you eat, who don't speak the way you speak, who don't pray the way you pray, trust me, you learn so much because at the end of the day, we're looking for the same thing. We're human beings and we're looking for the same thing. We have so much more in common that we want to admit. And that's how I'm so grateful. This is one of my things that I do. And that's the reason why I am today.
The audience, the listeners can't see me nodding my head in agreement with everything that Lucy just said. And it's true. We are one human race. And when you travel or you integrate with other people, you really do discover that underneath it all, we're all the same. We may look different, different skin color, different type of hair, but underneath it all, we're all the same. If we have
We're looking for the
children,
one thing.
yes, 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 yes. And if we can peel away all those, facades and really have conversations with many people that you think you're so different from, you'll be amazed to say, actually, we all are alike.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I've had conversations with people that I thought I was never, I mean, I had nothing in common at all. And the minute we sit down at a meal, and I realized that, wait a minute, so you have issues with your mother-in-law too, or maybe you have issues with your father-in-law too. Oh, so your kids drive you crazy a little bit too. Oh, really? Oh, how about? I'm just these are the simple things. Oh, so you struggle with university as well for your kids, and oh, the simple things. Oh, you don't like salt. Oh, you prefer pepper, or you don't like spicy food. Oh, the simple things. Like I'm talking about these simple things. It is the same thing everywhere. And when people are not careful, they think we are different and they miss out. So that's the reason why I tell people, wherever you are, wherever you go, have the courage to say, I'm going to leave my comfort zone and be brave enough to go to the person who doesn't look like me or who is not like me, because I'm telling you, this is what I've noticed, Paula. What we don't know, we're afraid of.
Oh, yes.
And that's the reason I refuse to be afraid of things. I'm like, when I tend to go to the things that scares me the most. I don't know why. I just tend to go to that because I feel like, you know what, if I go and I learn more about it, maybe I'm going to feel better about it. And it works all the time.
And you can also share that with others who are, as we said, people are so similar, they may be just as afraid of when you say, well, I've done this, or this is what I've experienced. So this is what I've noticed. They'll be like, really? Let me try it too. You know, it's really educational. It's a learning opportunity to step outside your comfort zone, open up your eyes to other possibilities, and find out why or how or where this is happening. You'll be amazed at what's out there.
Yeah, and it's actually it goes both ways, you know. I'm not sure if your audience is uh I mean, I know you have a lot of immigrants and everything, but I like to tell people who are here in the US, who were born here and who never traveled, who never went outside of the US. I usually tell them, hey, this is your chance, your opportunity to learn from other cultures and other backgrounds. If you don't get close to people like us, you will never know. You will
True.
never know.
I mean,
That's your
exactly.
chance. It's like a free chance. Like wait a minute, this is free. Like you don't have to take a to fly like we fly and go overseas. We are right here. We can teach you how we do our things. We can learn about our food. We can learn about our culture without in the comfort of your country. You know, in your place. Just because if you have the courage to just ask questions to the people who come from outside of the U.S. Yeah.
I love how you broke that down. You don't need to travel because the U.S. is such a melting pot, different cultures, people from all over. It's actually a land made up of immigrants for the most part, because the original people, as we know, are the um, indigenous people that were met here, that were always living here. So, as you rightfully said, if we look at the opportunities that are given to us right here in the United States, that is so vast, you can learn so much about other cultures without having to travel.
Yes.
That's a concept I never thought of, but that makes a lot of sense. A lot of sense because I've always encouraged travel because I said to my children over and over again that travel is more than just getting on a plane or a boat or whichever means of transportation you take to get there, but it's a way of educating yourself about other people and their culture and ways people live that's different from what you're accustomed to. But I like how you have turned it around to like, and if you can't travel and you live in the United States, you have that opportunity of learning about other people right here. That's fascinating to me. So before we wrap up, there's a question that's been on my mind for a while, and that is, now when you came here, was it everything you expected? Because the U.S. For those of Americans that are listening to this, for lots of us abroad, when the U.S. is like the pinnacle. I mean, it's like the literally God's own country. Everyone wants to come here. Most people want to come here. There are very few people I know who don't want to come here because America has done a great job at marketing themselves. We see the movies, we dance to the music. America is number one as far as most of the world is concerned. And so when you came here, was it everything you expected or not?
No way. I'll tell you something. Let me tell you something. When I was outside, when I was still in outside of the US, even either in Europe or in Africa, I used to believe that America was that place where everybody's rich. Like you have everybody's has money, everybody is extremely rich, and it's called branding. And if I really want to give this nation a round of applause for knowing how to brand itself in the world because wow. I when we used to watch movies, we were like, oh my gosh, we were dreaming. But when I came here, I remember that one time I saw a homeless person. At that time, it was in Boston. I was shocked. I honestly thought it didn't exist here. I was shocked. I was like, "Do you guys have homeless here?" Because it was shocking. I'll tell you why it was shocking. Because back home, the family aspect is so strong that even you it's rare and almost inexistent to see, like, yeah, and it's almost non-exist, like doesn't how can I put it, yeah, it's almost inexistent to see someone who is down the street while maybe his cousin or brother is wealthy somewhere. The family will take care of you. We always find that a way to get you on your feet, because there's home, your home is not your home only, it's your family's home. And I was shocked that it existed here, and it was so, and also this society is, I mean, there's so many great things that I love here. For example, the fact that people are very when it comes to work, it's like people are very efficient. People are very business minded. People have that type of discipline that comes with, the capitalism makes it hard for people to be lazy, to be honest, unless you want to. When you're on your own, you gotta do what you gotta do. But in the meantime, there was something that I saw here that I was a little bit turned off about is individualism. It's all about me, 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 and I can't. I don't. I wish this nation is so great. Oh my gosh! So I wish if there was one thing that I can um, help people understand is that it's not only about you. It's not you only. There's no money is that one tool that people run after so much that they tend to forget humanity, and I don't, and that it's just difficult for me to digest. After 18 years in this country, I still feel pain sometimes to see how people are so money motivated. Not everybody, of course, but some people are so money motivated that they will kill for money, or they will give the, I don't know how to explain this, and that's it's not it's disappointing, but other than that, oh my gosh. Yeah, so that's these are the things that people don't see from outside. They think it's, yeah, all glamorous and everything. You gotta get up in the morning and work hard, and you're on your own.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's something you are so right that people abroad who are not in the United States or haven't experienced some time living here don't understand that every dollar you work for, back home we have more of a tendency to, you give, or there's an expectation that, all right, my uncle is rich or my aunt is rich, so I can go there and they'll give me money. But here, everyone works for that dollar. And so before it's given to you, some sweat equity has gone into that. And so,
Can I just add something real quick to that? There's a good side to it though. Can feel that, as I sometimes I feel like back home as well, especially in my country, back home as well, some people would take advantage of that kindness a little bit too much and just sit down and do nothing. And that's not okay. But I feel like there has to be a balance everywhere. There has to be some type of balance, and if you people have to be just more educated. Like I say again, just read. There's some good books out there that allow people to balance a little bit, because if you only rely on the education that you get from your home or what you see on TV, you're going to be lost, because one thing that we are very careful about as well is TV. We don't watch TV at all, almost never, because not only it's a distraction from work, from being focused, but also it's not realistic what is on TV. And if you want to watch TV only have the the information that you need to get going in this world, you're going to be lost. For example, when I used to watch TV in America, in my country, and I thought America was everybody was rich. But when I watched TV here, I thought I understand why American people who were born here, who never left, or maybe even their country, or maybe their state or their city, believe that Africa is just whatever, because the images that people choose to show on TV are very unique. And that's a good thing. That's a bad thing as well. I'm sorry. And I want to really tell people, pay attention to what you watch on TV. Gotta be careful.
It's true. You mentioned something about branding and America. America very good at branding themselves. That's the absolute truth. This is the number one capitalist society. And so marketing, branding, sales, that's what drives this economy. Money drives the economy. But at the same time, I mean, as you said, we can take the good and bad. We in Africa and whatever country we are in Africa, we need to understand that too. And do the same thing. We need to brand our countries and let people see too that the great resources we have there, the the great culture that we have. I mean, the cities we have. I've seen many programs where people have shown pictures of cities like Chicago and probably a city of Lagos, Nigeria, or Nairobi, and said, what? Tell me where this is." And most people would never guess that these are cities in Africa because the assumption is that Africa is backwards. Africa has nothing. We live in huts, that we're not educated. It's like here, as you said, you came here and you were shocked to see homelessness and poverty here. It's the same back there. We have homelessness. Well, for the most part, we have poverty.
As a matter of fact, someone asked me if 18 years ago when I came here, people are getting better right now these days with social media and they can see and they look. But people asked me 18 years ago if we live on trees and if we run after lions and giraffes and everything. I've never seen a giraffe in my life ever if it wasn't at the zoo. I don't even understand what you're talking about, or either zoo or the circus. So I'm like, I was shocked. But that's the thing. These are the things that people really believe.
Yep, I've had those questions too, and I similar to you. I'm like, just as you see them in the zoo, so do I. I've seen lions in the zoo in Nigeria and giraffes. Never saw them on the road. But as you said, it's brand. It's what's portrayed on TV, and so it's up to us to change that story. Up to us to change the way that Africa is looked at, and that's one of the reasons I do this program too, so that people can hear and see that for one, Africa is not a country; it's a continent made up of amazing people, successful people, people that are just as intelligent as people that you have come across in these other the Western world, and people who feel the same way about things as you do about your country. People who care about their country, care about their family, and who want to succeed. That's why I do this. Well, this is the very last question I'm going to ask you, and I know that you've been living here for some years, and you have done very well. I mean, you've had your highs and lows. But would you attribute any of this to like luck or faith, or what would you attribute your success to? In other words,
Wow, this is a question that I didn't see that question coming. I would say the grace of God, number one. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm not sure if your audience can, and forgive me if some people in your audience are not believers, but if you allow me, I'm going to say a few things
sure,
because that's what I
sure.
believe.
I've always said I'm a believer. I've put that out there.
Yeah, but I say the grace of God, not to say that it just fell on my lap. That's not what I mean. It just that um when our creator has a plan for all of us. And when he is going to help you understand that by giving you signs and by showing you certain things. And when you work, some of the things that you do are you can feel comfortable here not doing this, and it's called purpose, and then i I strongly believe that everything is by grace first, because even waking up in this morning is by grace. That's the reason why I say grace first. Because some people, for example, last year we had the pandemic, it was really bad. Some people are not here today anymore. But what do you do with that grace that you have? What do you do with it? When God gives you that opportunity to wake up in the morning one more time, when He gives you that health that you have, when He gives you that extra meal that the other person, maybe in the next city or the next neighborhood, there's one person over there who doesn't have a meal on the table. When you have lights, when you have a computer, you have a cell phone in your hand, someone else is homeless somewhere, not living on the streets. What do you do with that grace and that grace that God gives you? And that's where it comes down to. My husband and I, we don't take anything for granted. Nothing. I'm telling you, I the first thing I don't take for granted is being here while other people would love to be in this country. That's number one. Number two, I don't take for granted the fact that I have this opportunity to be alive and be healthy. So that's why I work hard. I take advantage of everything. I take advantage of the library, for example. Remember, I told you about reading. I was talking to someone who said to me, "Oh, I can't read because it's expensive to buy books." What the heck are you talking about? Libraries, you can have a library card and it's free. You just have to get yourself there. Okay, don't tell me you cannot read because you don't have time or you don't have money. It does not make any sense in my mind. And where do I get the information that I use today? I get in so many people's minds, and I apply and I try, and when I fall down, I try again. I don't give up the next day. It hurts, of course. There's so many things that I want to do. I mean, I try and it hurts. I remember, when I wrote my first book. Actually, I have four books at this moment. I have one in French, one in English. I've been a part of two anthologies, and those books that I wrote, it was not easy. I try. You understand what I mean? Like, it's just the grace of God is there, but you got to take advantage of the grace that God gives you. That's the way I see it. It takes courage, my dear. It takes courage, and it takes hard work, and it takes the courage to say, I'm not going to give up even when I feel rejected. I'm not going to give up even I feel like I don't see tomorrow. You know, I'm not going to give up even when I feel like all the doors are closed, because listen, I read a book called The Compound Effects 10 years ago, and that book changed my life completely. I don't know, I'm not sure if you know that book, The Compound Effect. Okay, I'm giving this to your audience on purpose. I'm giving your audience this book. It's called The Compound Effect from Darren Hardy. 10 years ago, I met him, about 11 ago, I met him in a conference. I was in sales, and he changed my life so much. I read his book, and finally I started to follow him. I actually met him face to face. I had a few other events with him, and he actually endorsed one of my work recently. And that book is going to show you how the everything that you do is, you know you are the sum total you are the sum total of all the decisions you make in your life. So today, what you are today and who you are today is just the sum total of all the decisions that and the choices that you made in the past. Some people think that things fall on their lap. No, it does not. You are who you choose to be. It's that simple. That's why I said I want to tell people, when you start doing something, don't say to yourself, this is the mistake that people make. They see their big goal and they tell themselves, "Oh my God, it's so far away, I can never get there." No, start every single day, one step at a time, one step at a time, and it's not the big change that is going to happen. That you looking for. What you want to do is look into those small changes every single day, and at the end, in maybe 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it accumulates into that compounded effect. That's what it is. And that people don't understand. They A quick example before I let you go. There's something, for example, I'm going to just quick for let's talk about losing weight, for example. You're not going to eat a burger right now and gain 10 pounds tomorrow. No, It's one bite at a time, every single day, every single day, every single day. And if you look at yourself without working out and all that stuff, 10 years from now, you're gonna see what you're gonna look like. It's the same thing for business and work and your language and everything. I mean, I didn't wake up and start speaking English like that. As a matter of fact, I still have so much to learn, and I'm sure during our conversation today, I'm sure I made some mistakes. I'm sure I did. I said something that just didn't make sense, but that's okay with me. I used to be afraid of making mistakes. I don't care anymore because I know I'm gonna listen to this later and say, "Oh, Lucy, you messed up. That's fine." Maybe I'm gonna make sure my kids are gonna listen and they're gonna say, "Oh, wow, Mama, are you still saying this?" And that's how they're going to correct me. They're going to say, Mommy, this is not, next time, this is the expression you have to use. I learn every single day. That's all I can say.
It's like you read my mind because that was a conversation I had earlier on today about learning every single day. And it takes maturity to get there. Many reasons. I mean, when I was younger, I tried to be perfect. And and I say many reasons because I think also culturally from Africa, we strive for perfection. You have to be the best child, you have to work hard, you got to do well in
Yeah.
school. And so one is always striving for perfection. But it takes maturity. Sometimes it takes education. It takes a book, like in your case, meeting other
Mhm.
people, to other things to realize that there's no perfect person. And as a believer,
Mhm.
there's only one perfect person. That's Jesus. But even as Christians,
Amen.
we mess up. I mess up all the time. But from my mistakes, I realize I can grow from that. I can learn something new. And like you said, I learn something new every day. And I'm at that stage of my life now where, like you said too, mistakes, if I make a mistake, that's all right. I can learn from that so that I don't make that mistake again, hopefully. And if I do, then I realize that I needed to learn even better so I don't make the mistake a second time. But ah, what you said has really, really touched my heart. Thank you so much for sharing that and telling us about, it's the grace. There's no difference between you and somebody else. It's really just the grace of God that separates us many a time. Because just as you were born
Yes.
into your family and you had the opportunity to travel, somebody was
Yes.
born into a family not through their own asking that, oh, I want to be born into this family. And they never had
Yes.
that opportunity that you did, or I did, or
Yeah.
someone else did. And when we
Yeah.
understand that, it's just by grace that we're where we are.
Yeah. And the key thing is, what are you going to do with that? We all have chances. We all are lucky. People are like, "Oh, you were lucky." Yes, I am lucky. Look, just like you, you're lucky too. But what are you going to do with that luck that you have?
Uh-huh.
We all have
Different
different levels of luck. That's why I
Absolutely.
can't envy someone. I'm not gonna envy um the Obama children's because they were born there. They're lucky. They were born in that. I'm not gonna envy them, but I'm gonna think, Lucy, what are you gonna do with that, with your luck at your level?
Yeah.
That's what it is. What are you going to do? Are you gonna take action?
And, as you mentioned the Obama children, as I said, it's almost like you had my conversation today because I spoke about that. Michelle Obama was from a very humble family, and she grew up in the North Side. And there's no way she could have seen that one day she would be the First Lady of America. That seemed impossible. But
Hmm.
for the grace of God, she met her husband. She was even, as I recall, she was his boss. But they got married, and circumstances beyond their control got them to where they are. And that has
Yes.
changed the trajectory of her life, her children's life, but it's also changed the trajectory of the world because for many years, I know a lot of Black people never thought they could be president or first lady of the United States of America, and that happened in our lifetime. So we too were lucky to see that because it
Yes.
makes you know that nothing really is impossible. It's perspective, it's grace, it's where you are, and
Yeah.
those opportunities.
And it comes down to taking action. He was in a good position, and he was like, he had the courage to take action, and he did. He
Mhm.
was willing to go in the lion's mouth and get it up and he was willing to say, okay, people are gonna insult me, they're gonna do all this, but I'm here for a reason. I'm gonna make sure that I break this ceiling so that people can look up to me now and say, if I did this, then you can do it. They can do it too. So that it all comes down to, are you going to take action when the opportunity comes there? Because that's all it is.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much, Lucy. This has been an amazing time learning about you, learning about your perspective, learning about how you too, in your own way, want to change the world. Because what you are doing, we haven't even gone into the depth of a lot of the things I know that you do. But just this 40 minutes of speaking with you, or 46 minutes of speaking with you, has been incredible. I've learned something new. And so, to my amazing listeners, if you just heard what my guest, Lucie Matsuaka, has said and you enjoyed it, I ask you please to head over to Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere where you listen to podcasts. And not just click subscribe, but also follow us, follow Chatting with the Experts. Or if you're an immigrant woman from the Caribbean or Africa and have found these stories interesting, please let us know in your reviews. And if you'd like to be a guest on my show, Chatting with the Experts, please head over to my website, chattingwiththeexperts.com/contact us, and let's chat. Thank you, Lucy, for this amazing time. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Thank you so much.